This band? I like this band. I wrote it down so I don't forget who they are. Oh, I remember. Fucking! We're back. Metal Horror Madness with a legend, an icon, heavy metal royalty, a man that helped shape who I am today. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. One of the kings of thrash. John Bush, the man responsible for every freaking iconic album, 80s, 90s, 2000s, decades and decades. He doesn't know how to stop. Top 5 voice in heavy metal history. I got a video I got to put out about it. I don't want to seem too much of a bull washer to start this thing off, but it's sitting in my drafts right now. I am stoked. I am psyched. This man's voice is untouchable. The amount of albums from Symbol of Self, Revelation, the most underrated metal album of all time, Revelation,
Wow.
Pillar, Hey Dirt. This album is iconic. It's undeniable. He can't be stopped. He's the hanging judge, possibly. I don't know what that song is about. Stop 442. Sound the White Noise. Volume 8. The threat is real. La Raza, not the old school. He's done a category 7. Have you heard that brutality yet? John, it's very nice to see you.
Nice to be here. You're a maniac. That's awesome.
Thank you.
A lot of
Thank you. I
knowledge there.
actually
A
had
lot of
messaged.
knowledge.
When I mean I go back, when Symbol of Salvation, I burned that cassette out. Back in the day when we had cassettes and you could play that cassette out. And then when Thrax announced a new singer and it was you, I can't explain how me and my friends geeked out. I can't explain how we knew that was the perfect fit. And then to continue all this time later with these Armored Saint, every album, the energy you keep, the vocals that stay that. I got to ask you, how do you just keep reinventing yourself like this?
Well, I just try to just a muscle. You got to keep singing all the time. It's like
Right.
anything else. You got to keep working it. I'm singing all the time. I'm pissing off my Argentinian neighbor next door because I sing in my house. Because I don't, as
Ah,
I guess I turn it up and I sing the songs. And then one day, all of a sudden, I heard someone screaming, and I was like, "What is that?" In between songs, and then I realized that she was playing some really loud music because she was trying to counter me, and it was like some
yeah.
Argentinian like folk music, and she was screaming at me, and the next thing I know, my sister-in-law's roommate who lives below me, she's screaming at you, and I was like, "Oh shit, oh no!" So
Oh,
so now I don't sing in there. Now I sing in my son's room in the middle of the house. But no, it's all about just keeping the pipes fresh and singing as much as you can, and you know, love music. What else would I do? I'd be
yeah.
the gardener for the lady next door, and that's not a stretch.
That is, it's either one or the other in this industry, right? And
It really
I,
is.
I can relate. I can relate because my neighbors got to hear the fucking Slayers and Thrashers at the top of my lungs, filming videos all day. Especially when I go outside and do it. Even I'm like, I could hear the echo down the street, and I'm like, this is the cost of keeping metal alive, guys. It's what we got to do.
Well, you got a strong voice yourself, it sounds like. Very strong.
Yeah, thanks. I do, and I just like you. It's just about using it and using it. And speaking of using it, this man, everybody, Milwaukee MetalFest. Shout out to Jamie Jasta. The guy's back hurts from carrying all these festivals on it all the time. John is going to be playing with Armored Saint and John Bush with the Anthrax era songs, which is crazy and so glad to hear because those songs, that era of battling through metal when it was on the ropes and you're out there putting those back, it's so important to keep that music alive. You're playing 2 days in a row.
I know. Yeah, it should be fun. It's going to be a good time. Well, we're excited because Armored Saints, the new record's coming out in on May 22nd, so it'll be about a week old at the week and a half, 2 weeks old then. And then I did these John Bush shows. I finally have been talking and talking. It's like stop talking, just doing
Yeah.
it. So I finally
Yeah.
did it. I did 3 shows and they were amazing. And so was nice enough to give us an offer to play another one. And so Milwaukee Metal Fest is going to be great. Ministry, various bands, Sacred Reich. I mean, the list goes on. Death Angel. There's many, many bands that are playing that weekend. Armored Saint. It's going to be great. We're excited. So yeah, and it's fun to play those songs. I miss those songs. And when we
Yeah.
played those couple shows, I realized as well as the fans that everyone missed them. So it was really
Oh yeah.
cool. It's emotional at times, and again, it's exciting to play that music. I love those tunes, and There was a lot of work that went into those records in the 90s. So it's cool to play them. I don't want them to just fall into the abyss. That
No.
sucks.
No, and John, I can tell you talking in the scene to all the people are very stoked that you're bringing all that back. And for me personally, I remember when Stomp 442 dropped. I was working at like Walmart or something. I was a teenager, or whatever, and I had a half-hour lunch break, but the record store was an hour away. So I left. I left. We were supposed to be out pushing shopping carts. I drove to this place, Mother's Music in Long Island. It's gone now. And I picked up that album. I played it the whole ride back. I couldn't handle how brutal that album was, how heavy that album was, your vocal delivery on that album. And that's why it is so important for those albums to stay alive because it means so much to us fans.
And did you get fired or did you get back in time for
Here's
just
the thing
lunch
about
break?
the man. He's kind of a scumbag. I pretended I helped everybody bring this. I remember this like it was yesterday because I snuck in through the back and I headed to the bathroom when one of the big managers was out there. And he thanked me for helping everyone push the shopping carts into the. I
You were
didn't touch
done.
anything. I was thrashing.
That's hilarious. Yeah, well, cool. That's a great album. Kind of sometimes it gets a little under the radar because Sound of White Noise was the first one and the biggest one,
Yeah,
and then Stomp came out and we had some a little bit of business issues at that point. Not I won't get into that, but
sure.
at the end of the day, it was a little under the radar in comparison to White Noise, but there's still some really great songs on that. Dimebag played a couple leads. That
Yeah,
was the first time he actually came out and played with Anthrax at that point and made his debut with as being our second guitarist, if you will, which is ridiculous to say. But
crazy.
yeah, King Size riding shotgun, he just killed it on that. And there's some cool tunes on that album.
Such a great album. And then hearing some of the new Armored Saint. I even wore my shirt.
Oh, that's great. That's cool. I didn't even notice. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome,
it's
dude.
so hard for me not to wear a Slayer shirt. I mean, I'm like, I'm talking to the king here. I'm not going to disrespect him. And Emotion Factory Reset. I listened to Hit a Moonshot. I'm not exaggerating 6 times today because what I love about you is you'll come in heavy with that energy and then that melody comes in towards the end of that song. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm
That's
going,
funny.
how? How are you still doing this? There's bands that they put one album out and they're out of ideas. This sounds and I love everything Armored Saint. I'm as old school as it gets with them. But I hear the new stuff. I hear this stuff and I go, it's just as good, if not better, because the production's better. It's vibrant. It's
Yeah,
louder.
yeah.
Everything's just to that next level.
Right, right. Well, dude, that's I feel so rewarded when I hear people say that. So thank you very much. I mean, we put a lot of hard work into these new records that we make, and we're from the '80s, and we're always going to be from the '80s, and we love the
Right.
'80s. But if we're
Yeah.
going to keep making music and we're going to keep doing it, we want to make music that's top quality and it can stand on its own, and we feel like it's equal or not better. I want to say equal or not better because I don't want to insult old school fans who are
Right.
like, oh, it's nothing's better than the '80s. It's like, okay,
Right.
I get it. I feel the
Right.
same way about, Stained Class and, Sin After Sin when I listen to
Yep.
Juice. But at the end of the day, we really believe the new music we make is pretty top quality. So, yeah, Moonshot is a great song. That little ending part, it was a cool part to do on the song because it kind of gets soft but it's not like ballady, but it
Nope.
kind of takes it to another place, and I get the chance to kind of sing a little differently, and then it comes back in with the big chorus ending, and it was a great video to make. It was really really fun, and Dave Brodsky and Ali they directed it and did an awesome job, and we had a lot of fans come out, and it was a trip because we couldn't play them the song because it was prior to the record coming out. So
Ah,
we had to kind of direct them as to what was going on, but they didn't hear any
yeah.
music. So I'm sure a lot
Right.
of people who were in it as extras, they're probably tripping out like, wow, that song I never even knew it was going to sound like this. So it was really cool.
It's so good, and the opener close to the bone as well. Just you've got that with those Armored Saint albums, just like to punch you in the face in the beginning. Like you just get, and I'm a guy, I have a little energy, so I probably
I
don't
see
need
that.
more energy, but it gave me more energy, and it just like I said, like you said, you could hear the old, not to the old school, you could hear it, but then you can hear the new, fresh, and you have the passion for it. A lot of bands sometimes as time goes on, they just kind of get in a rut, and you're just doing an album to do an album. But I feel like every time you put it out like this album, you're saying, hey, if this was a brand new band, I would love this music. I would go, this is energized. It's new stuff. It's great stuff. It's heavy. It's hard, and it's fun.
You know, it's funny, and hopefully nobody takes this wrong, but sometimes I wish it was a new band. And the
Uh,
reason is because then people would hear it with with nothing preconceived. So they would listen to the
right.
songs and go, but automatically people say, "Oh, it's Armored Saint," and so then there's this kind of preconceived idea, and then they hear it and they're slightly biased because they know the history. Sometimes in a weird way, I wish it was a brand new band that nobody knew, and then they hear it and then they would be like, they wouldn't have any preconceived notions with that. Yeah,
Right.
that's my own little thing. But whatever. I mean, we're super proud of what we've done, and we're still kicking it here in our early 60s, which is absurd and ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just happy I'm still alive. So-
Yeah, you've seen it all, you've done it all. I mean, not only I'm sitting here going like the guy, two bands, and he gets category 7, which is just that
Really
is some
cool.
thrashy music, man. That is
Yeah,
that is a cool vibe. That album, I listen to that album probably once a week, and I was like, is he
thank
going to
you.
play with them as well in Milwaukee? Like, what is this? He doesn't know how to stop.
Well, those guys will be with me. I'm playing the Anthrax stuff because they were the band.
Ah,
But yeah, no, we I think we might have had an offer to play with C7 last year. We couldn't make it happen. But we'll do some more shows, and we're talking about maybe making another record here. As a matter of fact, I've been trying to work on some new songs, um, and we don't want it to be kind of a one and done thing because
right.
those guys are incredible musicians, and it's just everybody's busy with their own life and their own bands. I
Sure.
mean, Jack Gibson, we can't like Jack's not hasn't is not playing with me again because he's just so busy with Exodus. So it's but we'll get it together and we'll make a record and it'll be fun.
Yeah, and you definitely should have a follow up to that one because that thing is a banger, and people more and more people need to hear Category 7 and the inspirations from all your music. I get inspiration from all over the place. My favorite inspiration. I told him I'm nervous before this thing. Calm down, madman. Calm down. It's Heavy Metal Puppy. My Heavy Metal Puppy, John, brings me joy and relaxation. She gets excited when I start yelling around the house. She starts running around, grabbing her toys, thrashing around.
What kind of
Do you have
dog?
any pets?
Yeah, I do. I do. She's not right here. No, I have a little dog actually. I just walked with her. She's
Okay.
like a Pomeranian Chihuahua, but super cool and a lot of energy. Well, what do you got?
I got a yellow lab, and then I have
Oh,
five
okay.
cats. So
Um,
I got my hands full.
Well, that's funny. We just got a cat actually, and my wife was the one who decided to get it. And for the 25 years that my wife and I have been together, she always says, "I hate cats. I hate cats."
Wow.
And just a week ago, she talked to somebody she could just got to know actually through the world of rock and roll, and she goes, "I think we're getting a cat." And I was like,
Wow.
what? You hate cats? She goes,
Right.
I want this cat. So now we have a cat. It won't barely comes out of the room, and
Yep.
my dog is flipping out. But now we have a cat, and we have a rabbit. There's a rabbit. We had
Oh,
two rabbits. We
nice.
had two rabbits, and the one guy died, and it was a real big bummer because he was really cool. He would sneak around the house and eat the dog food. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're an herbivore. You're an herbivore. What are you doing eating dog food? And he loved the dog food. I don't know if that killed him, but it was crazy. We'd have to pick up Mops is
Yeah.
coming, pick up the dog food. And the dog's like going, dude, this is my food and you're eating my food. He got a taste for meat
You got a
and
taste.
that was it.
That
Poor
was
guy.
that's mine. My cats and dogs, they do the same thing. I'll catch my cat Roxanne, and she'll be in my dog's dish. I'm like, get out of there. And now my dog loves the wet cat food I put out for my older cats. And I'm running. I'm like, I don't have enough stress in my life being myself. I got to deal with this all the time. And rabbits. I had a rabbit growing up, Oreo, just like the cookie.
Yeah.
White, black, awesome
Oh,
rabbit.
cool.
And I ran away on me one time. I had her outside, did forgot to yeah, and I was devastated. I was being a little crybaby. I'm a sensitive guy, everybody. I could be sensitive sometimes. And I just love having them around because as we know, people can suck, people can be assholes, and our pets are just there. They're there to support us. They don't judge us.
So the rabbit got out and just took off and like because
Yep.
I mean some of the videos I've seen of you, you look like
Yep.
or is that where you live? Like kind of it looks like a little
So
bit
So
forest, right?
when I grew up on Long Island, New York, so
Right.
well, I had woods in my backyard, so I'm assuming something grabbed her. Um, But yeah, where I live
Right.
now, I'm in Massachusetts, and
Oh,
when I mean everybody hears me yelling, and I'm in the smallest town in Massachusetts, everybody hears me yelling, and I love being out there because when I do my videos, I could throw my chairs out in the woods, I could run around like a lunatic, and it's really tranquil, and it's really it's quiet out here except for me. I guess I'm the nuisance of the town.
yeah, but I'm sure they're all amused by it.
You know, and that's the thing with me. If you're not amused by a crazy metalhead, what are you doing with your life? Life's too short. There's too much going on. Enjoy
You know,
yourself.
people actually, once they get to know metalheads, there's an endearing quality. They find it and they see it and they find it. And they're like, they just know people are passionate. And that's
Yeah,
metal. Metalheads are passionate and they certainly will tell you if they feel like you turn your back on them. And they'll be like, hey, your new stuff, it sucks. And I'm going to tell you that.
right.
Straight up. And then if they're German, they'll do it this way where they'll say, oh, your new record? Oh, yeah, yeah. What do you think? I do not like this one as much as the last one.
Oh,
Like, okay, well, thank you for your honesty.
how do you react to any criticism? Because I know sometimes people take it very personally, and sometimes people can just brush it off.
What I say is when I see shit online, all I say is you got to be funny. If you're gonna trash me, if you're gonna, bag on me, I don't care because whatever. I mean, I can't expect
Right.
everyone to like what I do, but you got to be witty. It's got to be funny. It can't just
True.
be like John Bush sucks. It's like that's all you
I know.
got. John Bush
I know.
sucks. Say something funny. Like sometimes,
Right.
forever it'll be the Joey Belladonna John Bush thing, which there shouldn't be there, but it is.
No.
And if somebody's like, this guy, Joey's better because John, and if they say something demeaning in me, but it's funny, I'll laugh and go, all right, that's a good one. And then, yeah, that's all I have requires. If you're going to trash me, at least be creative with it.
Be creative, and that's I never got any of those debates, the Bush versus Belladonna, Megadeth versus Metallica, like all that stuff. To me, I'm just happy to have. I can't, when Sound of White Noise came out, and I heard only on the Headbangers Ball. What I mean, John, when I mean that song, that's in my top five metal songs of all time. You're in my top five metal vocalists of all time. I'm not just saying that at all. That was a life changing song and album for me because to me, what I saw was such a big lead singer change that it shouldn't have worked. It's one of those scenarios where like it's just not going to work. And I remember me and my friends being like, I was excited because I was a big Armored Saint fan. Like I said, I'd watching Hellraiser 3 over and over on stage and everything.
Awesome.
And when that album dropped, I was like, it was earth shattering to me, and it's just stuck with me. And then, like I said, Stomp, and then Volume 8, and I thought, We've Come for You All was just that was just
The
a
record.
beautiful swan song with you with them. That was just a perfect album, and your vocals are on point and everything, the energy of that album. So I'm just happy that we've got to have both. And I wish more people would be open minded.
I mean, the more music, the better, really, quite honestly. I get it. I've always, I felt the same way. I'm a fan as well. So,
Right.
I love Ozzy, but when Dio joined, it was like, well, how's this going to be? And
Yep.
obviously those voices are so vastly different. But God, how could you argue with Heaven and Hell? It was just such an amazing album. So,
Right.
same thing with, well, AC/DC had to replace, Bon. He died, so what are you going to do? But
Yeah.
Back in Black, I mean, come on, what an incredible album. So, the Hagar, Van Halen thing, it's funny because I love Sammy. I was a huge Sammy fan of his own
Yep.
material, certainly Montrose. I didn't love Sammy and Van Halen. And the
Right.
reason was mainly because I felt like they lost some of their nuts. I felt like that's my
I
personal
agree.
opinion. I wish Van Halen sounded like Montrose on those Van Halen records with Sammy, and that
Yeah.
would have been incredible. But felt like there was a lot too many keyboards, and it just kind of got a little softer. So I mean, I was a little partial to Dave. But hey, I get all this, man. This is the kind of stuff people love to debate online, and it's
True.
fun and it's amusing and whatever. You can like whatever you like, but the reality is the more music, the better, really. So.
Oh, that's what I said. When you put out this album, I feel like if this album was put out in a different time, a different year, this thing sells a couple million copies. Like I can't. You just sound hungry on the album. You sound energized on the album, and I preach it to everybody. Like everybody I talk to, and I'm like, you don't
Appreciate
have.
that.
Yeah, dude. I again, no disrespect. I love everything you've ever done. 80s, I love it all. But this album to me was just one of those that just had that extra punch and just had that extra. And at the time where you had in between Thrax albums, it was like as a fan, I even told Brian Slagle this. I was like, this album, this should have been 4 million times this thing should have sold right here. Like this album is perfection. And I just really respect that you keep it going. And with the new, when you get done with an album, so you get done with the new album, are you immediately like, we nailed it? Do you get overcritical of it? How's your mindset?
I think you put a lot into making an album, and then once it's done, you feel rewarded and you feel gratified that you did everything you could, and then you just have to let it go. And that's the scary
Right.
part. That's kind of the tough part because everything prior to that is it's all yours. You're making it, you're working on it, it's your songs.
Right.
That you go into the studio, you record it, you mix it, the people associated with it. As far as the creation of the record, Jay Rustin, who mixed our new records, mixed the previous two, he's incredible. All that your team is working, and then once it's finished, then you let it go, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the scary part because then it's all it takes is one review. This record sucks, and it's like, oh
Right.
man. But you let it go. It's like a little baby. You have to let it start crawling and then walking and walking like a toddler. And then next thing you know, they're a teenager like my son, and you're like, oh my God, he's driving. And you have to kind of let go and just let the public feel the way they do about it. And in your soul, and I'm sure most musicians can, or all musicians can feel this way, is that you believe in it. So,
Right.
that's all you can do. You just believe in it, you let it go. You hope for the best. And, to me, it's never really determined by the success level financially of a record. To me, it's a record should be based on what you feel and what it did for you emotionally.
Right.
How it comes, what the public thinks, how many records it sells, what are you going to do? You have no control over that. You just don't. So you
No.
let it, and I'm pretty good with that. I just, I kind of let it go. And, of course I want it to do well. Anybody who says otherwise is a liar. But, the reality is
Right.
you you can only do so much, even if the record companies, everybody's in line. And I mean, we have the best label with Metal Blade, and all the people that work there, and everybody's super supportive. But in the end, it's still it is a different time, like you said. Everything's you. I mean, records, they don't sell. Even the biggest bands. I mean, the Megadeth
No.
record, number one, and then had a drop
I
off.
know.
It's just the way it is these days with record sales. So, but you could still create your vibe out there, and you go out there and tour and you play shows and sell merch, and there's bands are still doing very well, but it's just
Yeah.
did it differently. So, music, I still like buying LPs. I still like buying CDs. I haven't
Yep.
gotten back to cassettes yet,
Right.
but maybe I might. But
Right.
see, I don't know where I'd play them is the problem, but.
I
Um,
know.
but I still love the vinyl. I still love the packaging. Metal Blade does such an incredible job with all our records. They make such cool albums with us and the artwork and stuff. So, yeah, just check it out and buy it, and hopefully it blows you away.
Yeah. When you put out a new album, so how many songs do you think you'll play live from the new one?
Well, we're doing two shows here in the next couple of weeks. We're playing San Luis Metal Fest outside of Mexico City, well, it's a couple hours out of Mexico City. That's going to be a fun show. And then we're doing the Rock Hard Festival where we're headlining, and that's out in Gelsenkirchen, Germany, and that's like a week later.
Nice.
Um, our record comes out that day, so it comes out before. It's not out when we play Mexico, but it will be out that day when we play in Germany. So we don't want to play too many new songs because the reality is people won't know them, but we're certainly obviously going to play the two video songs that we just put out with
Yeah.
Close to the Bone and Hit a Moonshot. So for sure we're going to play those. And then, once the record's out and we do some touring together, in Europe, and we're going to do some stuff here in the States as well, it was up to me. I mean, I'd probably play at least half the record. Probably won't
Yeah.
be realistically, at least for sure, like three, maybe four songs. I would definitely want to do that, and that minimum. But, we get it. There's old school fans, and We don't want them to be bathroom breaks when all
Right.
right, play a new song right now. Okay, perfect, because I had to piss.
Right.
We don't want
Yeah.
that, man. We want people to love to hear our new songs and be excited, and most people really are. So yeah, but you have to do it in conjunction with the old stuff too. We get it. So
Yep. It's just the way that works. And I'm telling you, like, I think hearing these new songs, I want to hear them live. I'm excited to see you in
I
Milwaukee
want to play
for
them
both
live.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be the loudest guy there while you may get on there and go, "Shut up, man! I'm trying to sing here." I
Dude,
cannot wait.
I'll bring you on stage and you could do some backgrounds with me. You got
Dude,
that
you
powerful
bring
voice.
me on stage. I will lose. I wouldn't know what to do with, but I would be so grateful for that. You guys, I told them before the show, I go, before I do this, I'm gonna calm down, and I can't calm down because I can't explain the memories I have of me and my friends buying your albums. Like I remember because I remember buying this. I was standing online at another record store on Long Island with Revelation, and I was just like, "Do you have the new Armored Saint?" And the guy's like, "It's not out yet this week." And I'm like, "No, it's out." And I was arguing with. I was wrong as usual. But you mean so much to me, and you mean so much to all of us. And Armored Saint, I look at Armored Saint to me as one of the top tier bands of all time because I'm not just saying this because you're on here. I've never had an Armored Saint album where I've bought and I go, oh, this sucks. Ever, ever, ever. Every time I buy it, I go, I don't know how he keeps doing it. That's what I ask myself. How does he keep doing it? Because bands can't keep these ideas going. It just doesn't. Every band I listen to, there's always one album where I'm like, oh man, this was different or something fell off. Never that. And your vocals, I've never heard them degrade at any
Well,
level.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. We just keep trying it and keep doing it. Saint was one of those bands that never really quite got to the certain level that we had
Right.
hoped, and whatever. That's the way of the music business. Nobody said that you're going to you become rock star. Everyone's going to be big stars. That's just not the way it is. So, you have to do the music, believe in it, and do it for the reasons that are, the genuine reasons. And the reasons
Yep.
the reasons that why you started doing this in the garage when you're like writing
Yeah.
tunes, annoying the neighbors and just saying, we're doing this because we love it and we have no money and we're going to go pass out flyers to try to get a following. And, you kind of never want to lose that, I know it's
Right.
hard. See if you're Metallica, although I don't think they
Sure.
ever really have some come lose it either. I think they still probably have that same feeling. But I think at the end of the day, like you have to you have to do it for the reasons that you started with, and that's because how you started and what it meant to you at that point. And if you lose that, if you no matter financially or whatever, if somehow you veer from that and you forget those feelings, that's when you should call it a day. And we're certainly not there. And it's crazy on the Armored Saint guys because it's all the same guys. It really is,
Yeah.
other than Dave Pritchard who died back in the 80s. Well, actually, he died in 1990, but it's the same dude. So there's a weird kind of like mafioso kind of connection with all of us. And
Yeah.
get me wrong, it's not always a comfortable environment. We have our beefs for
Sure.
sure. As a matter of fact, after this, we have a band meeting online. So
Oh,
we see how that goes. But yeah, it's crazy though. It's still the same dude. So there's an investment in the band that's a little
yeah.
different. Say if it was, Joey Vera and four dudes from Long Island, nothing against,
Right.
you know what I mean? I'm just
Right.
playing around here.
No, I know.
It's
I know.
it's the same guys, and so everybody kind of has this investment, emotionally. So whatever. If you don't get the big royalty checks, but you're like, hey, we made this record and look at it, it's killer, and look at this in the music, and people dig it, and that's really the name of the game. So
Yeah, and I'm not going to keep you much longer. That was a question I wanted to ask you about new bands because the thing that breaks my heart with a lot of new bands, young kids I talk to, some that just a couple of years ago they had all that fire and energy, and it didn't take off right away. It didn't take off right away, and they got discouraged and they broke up the band. I even see it with social media creators where it's like. I look at my early days on social media. I was getting my ass kicked. I didn't know what I was doing. My content sucked. People were coming at me left and right. But like what you just said, I had that fire and I like to have fun and I'll always do it. There's never a time where I'm going to stop doing it because I like to do it. I feel good. It's a great outlet. And that's the message I just got from you. And that's always good for people to hear is remember why you're doing it in the first place. And most of the time it's not going to get to where you want. Like that's what I try and think too, like, guys, I have bigger dreams. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that's okay.
Oh man, dude, I think about let's just say all the people that have actually made a record. Okay. Let's just, in all
Right.
genres, like not even just rock and metal, but like anything, jazz and blues and country and you name it. Think about everybody who's made a record. Okay. I don't know the statistics of it. This is just the stuff I think about. But think about how many of those have actually had financial success of all the people who've made records. It's probably like 5% and maybe lower of all the
Right.
people who have made records. Because I remember we would love going when I was saying we'd go to the Chrysalis offices. When I was in Anthrax, we'd go to the Elektra offices, and
Yep.
one of the first things we'd do is we'd go to the store, the cupboards, and open them up and like check out all the CDs of all the various people on those labels.
Yeah.
And of course, when we're on Christmas, it's like Billy Idol, Huey Lewis. I mean, these are the big artists. But you look at a bunch of the rest of the CDs, and you're like, who the hell are these guys? Never even heard of these people, which is funny because some of the same people probably went in and goes, Armored Saint, who is this? But like the reality is that for all the successful artists in whatever genre it is, there's so many that don't have success. And I mean,
Right.
we know let's say metal world is very competitive more than ever now. So it's hard to squeak through. And I kind of have people really acknowledge you because you're competing with everyone else. So again, got to go back to the real reason you do it. And that's because you love doing it. So.
And wise words by a wise man, guys. Get out there. Motion Factory Reset could be the album of the year
Hey.
by a top 5 metal singer. The guy doesn't know how to stop. Go support him everywhere. The album will be available everywhere. Buy the vinyl. Pick out that vinyl. Look at the artwork, like John said. Spin it on your player. It just hits different. Go see him everywhere. Check the band's website. Go check on all social medias. He's everywhere. The guy's like a disease. He can't be stopped. He's all over the place. He's infiltrating everything you see. He's put out every album. Every album is worth a listen with John Bush. You will not be disappointed seeing him live. Milwaukee's going to be next level. John, any other plugs? Anything else you want to get out there?
We're doing some dates in Europe, a bunch of stuff. You can see it on the website with the various bands, Sabotage, which is cool. Testament and Metal
Yeah.
Church are doing some various dates, and then we're going to announce another tour at the end, towards the end of the year, in on a portion of North America. I can't say it yet because still a little. We're working on all the nuts and bolts, but that'll come out in the next couple weeks, and that'll be another run here in the U.S. and a date in Canada. So we're going to be busy. We're going to be out there. Record comes out May 22nd. Check it out. Like you said, thanks for all the endorsements, brother. Really, really appreciate
Yeah,
it. You're
man.
very passionate and you're really funny. And that's awesome.
Hey, oh, man. What are you trying to do to me? I'm going to go cry
Oh, I'm
after
sorry.
this
You're not
here.
funny at all. You're not funny at
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Some people think
Whoops.
I'm a douche. Some think I'm funny.
No,
It's one of the
no.
charismas of Metal Horror Madman.
No, man. You're passionate and you know what you're talking about, actually. You're
Thanks,
super
man. Yeah, dude, I am real quick is when metal was dying, right? When the 90s was all my friends got into other stuff. They got into grunge, they got into rap. And I like all types of music. I listen to everything from 70s stuff. But I stayed the course. I was the guy going to the CD store going, could you get me the Twisted Sister live album coming out in Japan only? I'd go buy CMC records of Overkill and Dokken, like stuff that nobody was carrying. I've stayed with this genre and I've stayed with you. And like I said, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I am very passionate. I'm the realest person there is with stuff. I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. I
Who
have my ups
is?
and downs,
Who
but
is?
who is? I appreciate you and like the amount of people I can't wait to go tell that we finally talked is just you are such an inspiration for me. And I just wanted to say that to you. And I just appreciate all the great music for all those years. And I appreciate your tenacity of everything, the ups and downs of what you've gone through in this music career and how you're still standing tall and you're still stayed relevant and you're still someone we all want to see. So thank you, John. I really appreciate it.
I'll never be tall because I'm only about 5'5.5", but that's thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And when we play in the Boston area or wherever as you said, you're in Mass, please come,
Yep.
please come.
Okay.
Let's hang out. Let's talk smack
Yeah.
and please do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
I appreciate that, dude. And thanks again for stopping by.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.